Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a novel that asks a fascinating question. What if the ultimate weapon wasn't a bomb, but a board game? It's a story that's going to make us rethink everything we know about utopia, morality, and even war itself.
You gotta love this opening line from Ian M. Banks, the player of games. Talk about an understatement. Our hero isn't some chiseled warrior or a silver-tongued diplomat. He's just a guy who's really good at games. But the game he's about to play, well, the fate of an entire empire hangs on it.
All right, let's get into it. Our story kicks off with Jernel Gurkat. This guy is, without a doubt, one of the best game players in the known galaxy. He lives in something called the Culture, which is, for all intents and purposes, a perfect utopia.
So try to picture this, a society where you can literally have, be, or do anything you could possibly dream of. Sounds great, right? But for a guy like Gurgay, who defines himself by being the best, this perfection is kind of like a gilded cage. He's won every game there is to win, and now he is just profoundly bored. His life feels totally meaningless.
And this quote, man, it just nails his whole crisis. He feels trapped. Sure, he's safe, everyone's safe, but what's the point? He's longing for a real challenge, you know? A game where the stakes are real, where his choices actually have consequences. He just wants to matter.
So, next up, a game of blackmail. And you know, this kind of cosmic boredom, it can make people do some pretty questionable things. And for Gurgi, it leads to one desperate act that's about to blow his perfect little life wide open. So here's how it all goes down. He's in this super high-stakes match of a game called Stricken. And for the first time in a long time, he thinks he might actually lose his title. In a single moment of pure panic, he does the one thing you just don't do in the Culture. He cheats. And of course, a rogue drone named Marin Skell gets the whole thing on camera.
Now this drone, Marin Skell, has its own agenda. It's an outcast, and it's desperate to get back in the good graces of the Culture's covert ops division. So it gives Gurga an ultimatum. Hey, go on this mysterious mission for me, or I'll tell the whole world you're a cheater. Just like that, Gurga is trapped. He has no other choice.
But here is where the story takes a turn. Gurgay thinks he's just the victim of some desperate machine's scheme. The reality? Oh, it is so much more complicated. He's not just on some random adventure. He is a pawn, and he's being moved around the board by a shadowy organization for a purpose he can't even begin to imagine.
Which brings us to Section 3, Welcome to the Empire. So, after a 2-year journey across the galaxy, 2 years, Gurga finally arrives. His destination is the Empire of Azad, and let me tell you, it is the polar opposite of everything he's ever known.
In Azad, everything, and I mean everything, revolves around a single, impossibly complex game that's also called Azad. This isn't like your family game night. This game is their political system. It's their social ladder. It's their entire philosophy of life, all rolled into one. Your skill at the game literally determines your place in the universe.
And get this, the stakes are absolutely insane. The person who wins the big tournament becomes the actual emperor. The game itself is designed to reward aggression, domination, and violence. I mean, people literally wager their own body parts in these games. This isn't a metaphor for their society. It is their society.
I mean, let's just put these two side by side. The Culture is all about freedom. No money, no power. Total utopia. The Empire of Azad is a brutal hierarchy where power and violence are everything. You could not invent two more different civilizations. He's gone from a place that has transcended power to a place that worships it.
And now, Section 4, Playing for Real Stakes. Gurg gets entered into the Grand Tournament, the one that decides who will be the next emperor. And this is where that game with real consequences he always wanted, well, it turns into a nightmare he can't wake up from.
His new companion drone, Flare-Eye Msaho, isn't about to let him just hide out in the game rooms. Oh no, it makes sure he sees the real Azad, the crushing poverty, the public torture, the horrific way that females and other genders are treated as nothing more than property.
And then comes the moment that changes everything. He wins a match against an opponent who had wagered his own genitals on the outcome. Gurgay looks into the man's eyes after he's lost and sees just a void. Total, soul-crushing despair. Remember how Gurgay wanted a game with consequences? Well, he got it, and it's horrifying. And in that moment, something inside him just snaps. This isn't about escaping boredom anymore. It's a mission. He is filled with this cold, focused rage. He's not just playing to win anymore. He's playing to destroy this entire sick, cruel system from the inside out. So let's dive into our last section, the game behind the game. Fueled by this new sense of purpose, Gurj plays like he's possessed. He is just unstoppable, tearing his way through the tournament all the way to the final match, against the reigning emperor Nikosar himself. The fate of trillions is now on the line.
And in a stunning display of pure genius, he wins. He actually does it. This outsider from a soft utopia just beat the emperor at his own game. The emperor, having wagered his life, is forced to kill himself. And with that single act, the foundation of the entire empire cracks.
But hold on, let's really think about this. Was this entire galaxy-spanning drama really just about curing one man's boredom? Did he just accidentally topple a violent empire? No way. There has to be more to it.
On the long journey home, the devastating truth is finally revealed to him. His blackmail, his journey, his righteous anger, his incredible victory, none of it was truly his. It was all part of a plan. His triumph wasn't personal, it was a weapon.
It was special circumstances all along. Their plan was as brilliant as it was ruthless. Why send an army when you can send a game player? By having Gurge beat the Azadians at the one thing that defined their entire existence, the culture proved that the Empire's whole philosophy of aggression and dominance was fundamentally flawed. They caused the Empire to lose faith in itself.
So Gurgis returns home a hero. He got exactly what he wanted, right? A game with real meaning, a life with real stakes. But it's a completely hollow victory. He learns that he was just a game piece himself, moved around a much larger board by players he couldn't even see.
And the result of this grand deception? The Empire of Azad implodes. It tears itself apart in a civil war, just as special circumstances knew it would. An entire tyrannical empire toppled. And the culture didn't have to fire a single shot to do it.
And this is the central question that the book leaves us chewing on. Sure, they got rid of a brutal, evil regime, but they did it using manipulation, blackmail, and psychological warfare. They used one of their own citizens like a disposable tool. So, was it a moral victory? Is a utopia still a utopia if it has to use such ruthless methods to survive?